Hey y'all, it's Megan and Andy. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Well, we're spending a little time in the garden, gonna get some first plants in the ground. Y'all saw us go here a week or so ago to the greenhouse and got our cabbage and broccoli starch, so it's time to get those going. We had a pretty cold morning. It was like 34, but we've been hardening those plants off and they should be just fine.
Yeah, and now it's, I don't know how warm it is, but
Feels nice.
It's on the verge of being hot out here.
It's nice.
But we're gonna put our new raised beds into action here. We have early round Dutch and early Jersey Wakefield, and there may be another variety in here, but I think
you got a round Dutch too.
And they're definitely getting to the point they need to be planted. You can tell they're lacking just a little bit of nutrients where they've been in the starting trays for so long. And I reckon before we're done planting today, we're gonna put some carrots too, right?
Yeah, I want to do carrots and possibly lettuce, but not for me.
Yeah, she's wanting to plant a little bitty patch of lettuce to give to the pigs.
Yeah, down there. Well, we got that section
right
there where it's built up. I don't know why. I did radishes one year there and kept pulling them up. The pigs loved them.
I remember. After today, I don't figure we're gonna be doing much planting at all for another good 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say
potentially a month, depending on the weather. So
I'd definitely say a month.
All cold weather stuff right now.
So my favorite thing to do with cabbage is I like just plain old boiled cabbage, fried cabbage, and I like chow chow.
I ain't eating cabbage no such a way you fix it.
I know you ain't.
All right.
Cabbage is so good though, you don't even know what you're missing.
We don't have to plant all that broccoli either if it don't take it all.
Okay.
Mama said she'd take anything we had left, or if you want to take your mama some.
Okay.
So we're good there. All right.
I don't want much broccoli. There's only so much broccoli one person can eat.
Well, let's put the broccoli right here in this bed. And that way, sounds a little crazy, but since it's something that you're going to be walking out here picking,
it's a little closer.
It's that many steps closer to the house.
Yeah. And I can see it. I can actually see the broccoli plants from my kitchen window right here. So
true.
And that's something like once it starts getting ready, like you need to go ahead and pick it pretty. So let's do half of this bed broccoli and half of it cabbage.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I'm fine with that. Makes no difference to me.
I don't like to be wasteful, and broccoli is one of those things.
Well, it all comes in at one time.
It all comes in at one time, and I don't like it after it's froze, and that's like the only thing you can do with it. So, well, the only thing I can do with it the way that I eat it anyway. You know what I mean? So It ain't no use to plant no whole lot.
So is that enough then?
It's about half.
Yeah.
1, 9. Yeah, that's enough.
All right. Well, that's easy
Well, see,
enough.
after you pick it, it puts off little shoots of broccoli too. So, you know, as long as the bugs ain't got it between now and then. Yeah, let's do that, and then half cabbage, but just do one kind of cabbage now.
Yeah, in this section.
Yeah.
Well, now the cabbage is going to sprawl out, and they're going to get pretty big, so...
These broccoli plants will get pretty big, too.
Yeah, they will. We don't need to plant the broccoli the cabbage near as thick as we just did that broccoli.
No.
So I'm going to go with
this compost holds moisture pretty good. It's moist down in there.
I know it is. It looks good, don't it?
Yeah.
So, you tell me this. Is that too far apart, having 2 rows of cabbage
They're going to get huge.
Instead of 3?
Hear me?
Yeah.
I hope they do.
I don't much like the looks of that plant. It's like dampened off down there. About rotted. See it?
Yeah.
I ain't going to use it.
Planted cabbage down there one year for my pigs too. You remember that? We had some extra plants.
I do. There you go. You got 4 cabbage plants right there. Now, are we going to do the same way? Just take 2 runs?
Yeah, might ought to, because they are going to
Which we planted it thick over here last year, and they just bunched up together. They still made a head.
Yeah, but I know, but I only got a good head like every other one.
Because it's too thick, I guess.
They were, I don't know, between the bugs and that.
This right here is going to get more sun than that over there did. So I have a feeling if these do good, these are going to make bigger cabbage heads.
Well, let's leave them like that then.
Okay.
You should try boiled cabbage though, because it's nothing like I know you've tried the greens and stuff, but it tastes nothing like greens. Cabbage just tastes like cabbage. Oh yeah, and slaw. I like to make slaw too.
That early flat Dutch must have been the only one we had. Was 1 4-pack of it.
Bad, hard thing about growing cabbage and broccoli though this time of year is the darn bugs. For whatever reason, they love broccoli and cabbage, don't they?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm talking to you.
Yes, they do love bugs. I mean, actually, they do love cabbage. Sorry, I was concentrating on getting these spaced right.
Remember the best cabbage we ever had though?
Was under that corn?
Was under the corn.
Yeah.
It sure was.
If y'all haven't seen that video, I think that was not last summer.
No, it wasn't last summer. It was the year before that.
It was year before that. We had corn planted along the back edge over there of the garden. And I think I actually had sunflowers
We had sunflowers
planted on the edge.
Yeah.
And the sunflowers were spaced apart. And underneath those sunflowers is where the cabbage was growing. And it worked great. I think we planted it a little bit late that year because why else would we have already had sunflowers growing?
We would have had to have.
And corn growing.
Yeah.
So we had
Maybe
to.
That's why we did it that way, because we knew it had to have shade.
That might have been what it was, but I don't remember the details of that part of it. All I know is that was the best cabbage we've ever grown ever. Mm-hmm. And it was all under.
And we ain't done it since for some reason.
You would think when you find out something works that great, you'd do it again, wouldn't you?
Put my knee straight down on the rock.
Did you? Yeah, for this, I mean, this compost thing had the first bit of rain on it since we put it in here, has it?
No, I'm kind of really surprised
And
at how damp it is.
It's held really good. Yeah, this whole bed here will be early Jersey Wakefield.
All right.
Ain't they cute down through there?
Mm-hmm.
So last year, our cabbage was grown right down this bed right here. And I actually have peas planted right along the fence, so they'll grow up the fence like we had last year. I think we'll go ahead and plant us a couple of plants down through, right through the center of that bed. But as you can see, it's still shady. And here we are, like that bed's still shady, and here we are. What time of day is it?
Probably 1 o'clock or so.
Is it that late already?
Yeah.
So it's like 1 o'clock, and it's still got shade on it. However, once the sun does come over top of these trees, that bed will be in full sun from then till the sun goes down. So it grew cabbage last year. So we'll put it back there this year.
It kept it from cooking when it got so hot.
That's right. All right. I guess next thing, we're going to fill these beds right here full of potatoes.
Yep.
All right. Which bed you want what in? Did you make a wish?
Always.
We've got Yukon Golds, Red New Orleans, and French Fingerlings.
We're going to do a kind of each for a bed.
That's my thinking.
Okay.
Does that sound all right with you?
Yeah. That way I can keep up with them better.
And do you think we'll have, we like eating those fingerlings. Do you think we've got enough right here?
I mean, they don't keep good enough to.
Well, they kept from last year.
I mean, to be edible. They shriveled up to nothing like months ago.
Oh, gotcha. So we got fingerlings we bought, and we've got fingerlings that were left over.
And just push them in the ground?
Yep.
Where you got them?
Yep. Or you think it should be closer? Potatoes, sometimes you can get by a little bit closer.
Yeah, you probably could put 4.
Yeah, do that. Pull the other one up in, let's put 4.
Let's scoot him over then just a little bit.
Well, there's almost enough in this cup to plant this bed.
Listen to them birds singing.
Pretty, ain't they?
It's one of my favorite things to do. Listen to the birds.
I'm gonna say that these right here will be up before our potatoes we planted in the field will be.
Probably.
Because this soil is warm.
Here.
So these are the leftover fingerlings. So we're just gonna...
See how they shriveled up?
Yeah.
They've been like that for a while. I was just trying to hang on to them till planting time.
Yeah, they'll still grow. Still grow good.
And we could cut these up and get 3 or 4 plants off of them, but...
We don't need to. Look at how many we got.
All right. One thing I was always surprised about with these fingerlings, we ain't been planting them but what, a couple of years?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years. Can't remember.
We first planted them.
But you get a lot of potatoes if they do good, like up under them.
I heard about them from Danny and Wanda at Deep South.
Yeah, I remember them
I'd
talking
never
about
heard of a fingerling potato, and they were talking about planting them one time, and I was like,
And they said it was their favorite, right?
yeah, they was their favorite. So we looked them up. We found some online for sale and bought them. And we've been planting them ever since.
And last year we got some from Hoss.
Yeah.
And this year we just got that little bag just to give us some new stock from Tractor Supply because they don't come about 4 or 5 potatoes in a bag.
Yeah.
And then we just decided to plant our old ones since they're still plantable.
There's still plenty left to do something with. What are you going to do with all those?
Throw them down the hill. What you gonna do next? The red ones?
Yeah. So these are red New Orleans here. I went through our leftover potatoes a couple nights ago. Oh, it's probably been a week ago now. And cut them up. I'm pretty sure we've got way more than enough to plant this bed here.
And the red potatoes, my plan is with them, I like red potatoes best as new potatoes. So we may not even have like a full-on harvest of these. I'll probably just come out here a little bit at a time.
And dig them.
Yeah.
Well, I like having them too as new potatoes. But for whatever reason, which this year they actually kept better than they have in the past, but they don't seem to
I think they're a softer potato.
they don't seem to last near as long as a white potato.
I think it's because they're softer or something.
Yeah, so these potatoes, all these potatoes we're planting up here will basically be for our personal consumption. And like y'all heard us say in our other potato planting video, all those, well, part of them will be for us, but a lot of those will be for us just to sell, as long as they do good. I can't believe how hot it is out here.
It is hot right here. Ain't no air moving.
Look at that. How many potatoes are left in that box? I'll give those to Mama. She'll plant them. I took, you know, the night that I cut these potatoes up, I had one, it was a sprout that broke off of one of the potatoes. I took it and planted it in a pot down there inside the greenhouse.
Did you?
And it's already up about that tall and just as green as it can be.
Really?
Yeah. And it was just a sprout. It didn't have no potato left on it.
I remember you showing it to me. I didn't know you ever planted it though.
Yep, I planted it. It's in the greenhouse. And when you have these new potatoes like that right there, Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pull up your potato you planted. You can bury that sprout all the way down, or you can leave it sticking up. Like when you've got them and they've sprouted, you know,
Well,
big
them
time.
had big sprouts, so I just left them sticking up.
Yeah, you can do either one. They can go completely under the ground or be left sticking up, and they'll still grow. Potatoes are very hardy.
Even if we've had them get frostbite before.
I've noticed before if they get frostbite, it seems to stun them just a little bit, but they always come out of it.
Yeah.
All right, now these here are Yukon Golds. And some of these are leftover potatoes. Some of them are new seed potatoes. We didn't buy very many Yukon Gold seed potatoes, but I didn't realize, I wouldn't have bought any, but I didn't realize that we had some Yukon Golds left from last year.
I love potatoes about as much as I love ice cream.
I know you do. Potatoes, in my opinion, is a good crop to plant, even for a first-time gardener. If you don't know anything at all about growing anything, you can plant you a potato, and I promise you, you'll have something. You may not have big potatoes, but you'll have some potatoes come off of it.
We don't usually do no whole lot to them. Unless
No.
they look like they need some fertilizer when they start coming up.
That's what I was going to say. They might require a little bit of fertilizer here and there. But they're about one of the easiest crops there is to grow, in my opinion. And like I've said many times before, if I was only going to plant, I think 3 crops, if I could only plant 3 different vegetables, it'd be sweet potato, Irish potatoes, and corn.
I couldn't reach them down there on the bottom, so.
I'll get them. Oh, it's easy planting into this, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. You just didn't get to ride your tractor.
I know. Gardening like this ain't no fun. That ain't sprouted enough. I'm gonna use another one.
It'd be pretty with potatoes in these boxes.
Yeah,
Potato plants are pretty.
that's another thing I like about potatoes. I think they're so pretty. Especially when you got a big old field of them and you just cultivated to them. With with a tractor or whatever. I think any kind of crop's pretty right after you've cultivated to it.
Yeah, it is.
Don't let me forget to bring a water hose out here and water these.
I try not to.
So we're gonna plant that over there in cabbage too?
Yeah, we'll put us a few plants over there.
Early Jersey Wakefield is what I've already got into the pack here. So you just want me to grab some more of these or something else?
Just mix it up.
Just mix it up. That's Early Jersey Wakefield's there. What was this one?
It's organized enough out here.
Early Dutch Round. We ain't gonna get many over there if we plant them in one single row, so
That's probably enough.
that's 6 plants. I'll take this old damaged one over there too and stick it in, see if it'll make anything. All right, let's go do this. I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, which I'm not gonna do it no time soon because I've kind of run out of time. But in amongst our raised beds here and around this tree, right now it's all grass. I think for now I'm just gonna get in here and keep it weed eated. But eventually, I think we want to take like wood chips and just mulch this whole area right here. I think that'd be nice, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be like, well, over there we got some nice walking path and stuff.
Yeah, in the other garden?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm after here. It's just gonna take a whole lot more mulch to do it. But I think that would be nice, and then I wouldn't have to get in here with a weed eater. But until then, I think we're just gonna weed eat it down.
Get it weed eated. The pansies have
pop
finally
that.
decided to grow.
And whatever these flowers are, they really took off too with these warm days we've had. The tulips that y'all saw Maggie and Megan plant not long ago, they're coming up all along here.
And now some of these here, those.
The irises.
A viewer center, those.
And those right there.
And those back there, yeah. And there was one more somewhere in here.
I don't see it now. Yeah, I remember that. Somebody sent them to her, didn't they?
Yeah. Somebody asked in one of the last videos why we didn't put our cows out here to let them eat our turnip greens and stuff. This is one reason. We actually did put Lovey out here. And if you follow on the Facebook page, I did put that on my story. Lovey was out here. He nibbled on some of the collards and the cabbage and the greens and stuff. But his favorite thing that he did find was all of our strawberry plants that we've got across here. That's one reason we didn't bother putting the cows or anything in here. We were worried about them digging up our strawberry plants, which is exactly what Lovey did. And after he found them, he just kept coming back. So anyways, ended up doing away with that. And yes, I did feed a lot of them to my chickens. Had a lot of people say that too, but they grow so fast.
I think it's worth a mention too that back when we did have our cow, when we had those steers in that fence over there,
We let them in.
we did let them in here.
Yeah.
But right now, our cows are way over yonder in that other pasture. And so even if we'd have wanted to put them in here,
It's just been more trouble and been worse.
yeah, it's a long ways to move them.
And somebody also commented, another good comment said, we should have picked those greens and set them out on the side of the road for free for somebody to come and pick up. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, everybody else and their brother grows greens here. We give away a lot.
We're gonna go in a straight line right down through the middle. Just space them where I've got them laying.
That dirt's cold.
It is cold. Much colder than that over there, ain't it? Now this compost here is what we've made.
Yeah, from our cow pasture and stuff, right?
Yeah, and it looks really nice, don't it?
Fabulous.
It's moist.
Now that compost out of that cow pasture, it'll grow some stuff.
It really will. Yeah, this year we've actually, at least I think, one of my mowing customers that I mow their yard, and they've grew a garden for many years, and now they're not able to.
Yeah.
And she's got some variety of
It was peas or something.
yeah, it's peas. Well, field peas,
Yeah.
like your black-eyed peas and your Crowder peas and stuff like that. I don't know. She don't know the name of them. She's got them labeled as brown Crowders is what she's got them labeled as on the bag. And she said that they're the best that she's ever eat, whatever variety they are. And so she's asked me this year if I would plant some of those seeds for her. So we're going to have a little bit of garden space taken up growing some stuff for her. We're going to be growing a lot of garden stuff for my grandma. So that's another reason we've expanded the way we have here too.
Well, I'm gonna tell you though,
I love it though.
it's more rewarding doing it that way than it is trying to sell it any day of the week, I think. To me, anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she know the lady I'm talking about. She knows we like to garden. They used to go. I used to love back when they did have their garden. I used to enjoy going there to mow just so I could see their garden, cause her husband would always. I'd already have tomato plants up this tall, and it would be Mother's Day, and I'd say, "You got your garden planted yet?" "No, I ain't planting nothing till Mother's Day." He said, "You gotta let that ground get warm. It ain't nothing gonna grow with that ground cold." And he'd always say that, and his tomatoes always
They would catch up to ours.
they catch up with ours, yeah.
Yep.
But you'd think we'd learn something from that, but here we are out here planting.
Well, we ain't planting tomatoes yet.
I know. But yep, he never got in a hurry at all of planting a garden. But boy, I'm gonna tell you, when he did, he always had a pretty garden.
But just know, that's not something we talk about a whole lot, giving stuff away and stuff, because I don't know, I feel like I don't need to talk about, I don't know, you know what I mean?
You don't want to feel like you're bragging about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I understand what you're
So,
saying.
when you see us, and you'll see us this summer throwing stuff to the pigs and everything else, rotten tomatoes, I'm sure you will. But just know that
There's already been plenty gave away, or at least attempted to give away.
Exactly.
I think all this extra stuff this year, I'm going to be planting down across the creek.
I think that's a good idea.
Because it grows good down there.
Especially peas like it
Peas
down
love
there.
it down there.
Yeah.
So, Well,
where to now, boss man?
that's our cabbage. We've got cabbage, broccoli, and the potatoes. All we got left is carrots, and we'll be done for today. A lot of people on YouTube especially tend to post every move they make. And, you know, while we do post a lot of what we've got going on, a lot of stuff we do to YouTube, you know, that's not all we do. And so just because somebody didn't see it happen doesn't mean it don't happen, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's right.
And I'm not knocking those people who do post every move they make, because that's great if that's what they want to do. But like I said, just because you don't see it on the video don't mean it didn't happen.
That's right. Go ahead.
So while I was going through my seeds a while ago looking for the carrot seeds, I found some beet seeds. I kind of forgot I ordered those, but when I placed my order from Hoss Tools, I ordered some beets too, because we haven't grown beets in a couple of years. And Megan loves pickled beets, so if they make anything, she said she may or may not pickle them. But anyways, I don't really have big plans for all these tubs this year. I don't think I'm going to be planting much anything in them. And I said, well, let's just put our beet seeds in these tubs. So we'll see how they do in the tubs. But now we're just topping everything off with a little bit of fresh soil or compost, whatever you want to call this. This is all stuff we cleaned out of the chicken lot over there before we added on.
Yeah, the beets is kind of one of them things. If they make, they make. If they don't, they don't. Because I'm the only one that eats beet pickles, and which they do make good Christmas presents, but I don't know.
Hey, and
they're a pain to make.
That beet juice makes some good pickled eggs too.
Yeah, they do.
I'll take the pickled eggs over the beets any days.
I know you will. You ever even tried beet pickles?
Nope.
You don't know what you're missing.
Well, I tell you what, if you make some this year, maybe you'll get lucky and I'll try them.
Well, then I'm going to have to make some. You better hope they do. You ain't going to be wishing. You're going to be like, I hope they don't make, because I'm going to have to try them.
It can't be that bad.
No, they're delicious.
This pot right here will be carrots, and all those little pots right there will be beets. Sound good to you?
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, hey, man, is reckon that's enough beet seed to plant them all in pots?
Well, we'll just plant what we can. It don't feel like there's that many. It says 350 seeds, so yes.
Oh, well, that's plenty. So years ago, and I say years ago, it's been like 2 years ago now, I ordered a whole pound of carrots for some reason from Hoss.
For some reason.
I had big intentions that year. So carrots are extremely easy to get way too thick. But
and even if you don't, I mean, even if you try not to, they're still going to be too thick.
They are. So we're just going to scatter them, and that's plenty. If these carrots keep, I've got enough to last right here the rest of my life. Like I said, I had big intentions. In my opinion, I think we have better success germinating carrots in the fall than we do in the summer. I mean in the spring, because right now the wind's blowing constantly. And that dries out the soil very quick, and a carrot seed can't dry out while it's trying to germinate. So, you know, as long as we constantly keep water on this, and there's a lot of different tricks to germinating carrots. People put boards over top of them to keep them from drying out.
We've done a little bit of
and we've done it all. And to be honest with y'all, we found it just as easy just to plant our carrot seeds and go on about life. I'm not saying none of those other tricks probably work great, but
for us,
it's just a lot simpler just to throw these seeds on the ground just like we done right there. Kind of scatter them in to where they got some good soil to seed contact. You don't want them too deep, but the key is do not let them dry out. You got to water these things. I think we water them, sometimes we water them twice a day, especially this time of year, because the wind blows constantly. And like I say, it dries out so fast. So you got to keep that top layer moist. Beet seeds are quite a bit bigger, right?
Yeah. All right, just sprinkle those in that pot.
I love the way Maggie sprinkles stuff.
Here, I'll just...
Now these can be buried deeper. The bigger the seed, the deeper it can be buried.
Well, can't I just do it like that?
As long as they're in the ground.
I don't know where they went.
That was one that I got sprinkled these in.
Yeah, sprinkle those. Right. I guess just like you did. There you go.
Mama can scatter them when she puts them in.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'll just do them like that.
No, that was a good job, Maggie.
Best thing, remember beets are pretty easy to grow.
I think they are. How long has it been since we grew beets?
I bet it's been 5 years. I don't know that I planted any since Maggie was born.
You may not have. We used to plant them in a row out there in the garden.
Yeah.
Did you do that one?
Yeah.
You want these? You want to do these? Okay.
Good job.
I'm going to put a few more in. Thing with beets is you get them too thick or just like carrots. They don't make no size. Y'all think we got them thick enough?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll water all this in here in a minute. What else did you got to plant?
Lettuce and radishes at the pigs.
Okay. So many people have been wanting to see the bed that the onions was in that Maggie planted. Them things are thick. Oh, they ain't picking up on camera near as good as what they really are. But they're plenty thick, y'all. Maggie's onion bed, ain't it? Yeah. Y'all, look at our peach tree. Some people, that might be a pretty sight.
Well, they are beautiful flowers, but...
Well, I don't mean it like that. It's not a beautiful sight because it's way too early for this thing to be blooming.
So more than likely...
More than likely, it's going to get frostbite.
We won't get any peaches, won't get any plums.
Yeah, our plum tree, which was just planted last year, is full of blooms. And the pear tree is even starting to bloom. See a few blooms right up in there starting to bust out, all the way up at the top. It's not a good sign if you want to get fruit. All right, and the last seed planting for today is actually getting rid of a bunch of old seeds that we have. And, well, Megan just wants to do this for the pigs.
Yep, I'm just gonna plant some lettuce and radishes and just sling it out through right here because it's right here at our pig lot. And we already have comfrey that comes up in there every year and we give that to them too. But I did plant some radishes right here. I can't remember if that was last spring or when that was.
Maybe it's been 2 years ago now.
Maybe it was. But it was perfect because I would come out here and just pick them and throw them out there to the pigs, and they sure enjoyed them.
Yeah.
And I love to watch pig eat, so.
Just gives you something else you can throw in there to it every time you come out to check on them.
So I'm just going to sprinkle them. Is that what you think?
Yeah, I just sprinkle them out there.
And this was just a retaining wall that Andy built a year or two ago for this pig lot with some field dirt. Ain't that what that is? I mean, you just filled it in.
Inside there.
Well, there's that lettuce.
I don't know how long lettuce seeds and stuff like that last anyways, and most of that's lettuce that you don't like. That's why we never planted it.
Yeah.
So,
Mom, you don't like this kind of lettuce?
just do away with it.
Well,
There wasn't much in that one, was it?
No.
Yep, now Maggie, unlike everything else, it don't matter how thick you put these. They'll make what they'll make.
Here's some more.
Get some more on down this way, Maggie.
I can't decide the 2 inches.
Oh, you done used it all?
I'll start doing that way.
All right, go down on the end down there.
Here, you want me to do this in so you don't step on a briar?
Yeah.
And they may not none of them come up. If they don't, they don't. But if they do, I'll have a nice treat for my pigs.
Piggy!
And you never know, it may like it out here in this shade.
Yeah.
May have me some lettuce for a while.
Yeah, this is a shady spot. And there's goldenrod right here. This green that you see is goldenrod. And I always let it come back every year. I've never tried to do away with it.
I like goldenrod, it's pretty.
There's all kinds of stuff that actually comes up in here on its own.
Go on up to the middle,
Oh man, it's gonna be a thick spot right there, beets.
All right, that'll be enough.
Well,
The pig buffet.
the pig buffet. That's a good name for it. Maybe it'll actually make something.
We'll
See, it is nice having, we've got comfrey planted everywhere around here. And the pigs, they tear that comfrey up. So I mean, you can cut that stuff off and 2 weeks later, it's done grown back out this much.
Yeah, and we give some to the cows, and what I've heard is they won't eat it unless it's something in it they need, and every once in a while the cows will eat it, but...
Yeah, them cows over there don't ever, don't
Now,
care
we had
nothing
these
for it.
steers, they liked it.
Chickens don't care nothing for it. At
No.
least ours don't. But the pigs,
Pigs love it.
they love it. They love anything that's green for the most part, though.
They do.
Well,
That's why I like to have a little something to throw them.
yeah, because even though they roam out in the woods, they don't really have a lot of green they can eat.
All right, well, I guess I'm about to call it a day. I'm going to go milk the cow.
I guess I got to go water everything, don't I?
Yep.
I got to water everything here, and so it begins, the watering season.
Yep. But anyways, guys, till we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.